How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. We are so honored that you are being a speaker for our WIN Ideas Pro Summit, Virtual Summit 2024. So, are you enjoying this event?
Oh, yes, very much.
So, yes, we start your presentation, so I would like to introduce you to the audience. We will give you a brief introduction. Okay, so just
Okay.
give us a second. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's a great pleasure that I stand before you to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Dawn Menge, a shining beacon in the literary and educational realms. Dr. Dawn's impressive collection of international awards is a testament to her dedication and passion for literacy. As a published author of the Queen Vanitas educational series and Dragon's Breath, she has not only captivated readers worldwide, but also contributed significantly to the field of education. Dr. Dawn expertise extends beyond the realm of writing, with a PhD in education, specializing in curriculum and instruction. She has been a guiding force for students with severe cognitive delays for over 2 decades. Her commitment to education, evidenced by her numerous accolades, reflects her unwavering dedication to fostering learning environments that empower and inspire. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Dawn share her insights and experiences with us, shedding light on the transformative power of literature and education. So, please join everyone in welcoming the remarkable Dr. Dawn to the stage. So, welcome
Oh,
Dr. Dawn on the stage. So, please go
thank
ahead
you.
with your presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm here today to talk about my journey as an author. It was actually accidental, and how you can take your life experiences and turn them into award winning literature that can be read around the world. You can help other people if you've gone through something that's kind of rough. We all have in our lives, and turn it into a message for other people to hear and connect with so that you can help them kind of heal through what they have gone through. So, I actually started writing my series. As she mentioned, I teach special education. I teach students with severe cognitive delays, and I've been doing it for 27 years now, and I absolutely love it. But part of that was part I took when I was getting my credential. I live in California in the US. I was asked to write a math book. And so when I first wrote it, I actually wrote it about my students. And we took it around, we traveled around to the local elementary schools, and my students did little skits. And then I would go back and explain their behaviors and their disabilities to the students. They were pre K to second grade. So I decided that I wanted to publish it. So I named it after my grandmother. And everyone in the book is someone in my family. So this was my dad, and it's based on the calendar skills. This one is pre-K. So each month, each page is a new month, a new friend, and then 7 activities that they do around the castle. And so it just goes through the year. And this is my niece, and she's camping in August. So I immediately won the EV Award, first place. And I was being interviewed, and they asked, well, what are you going to do next? Well, I hadn't planned on doing anything next. This is all I was doing. So I love to travel. My grandmother was an astute businesswoman. She founded and ran a credit union and traveled the world. And I love to travel. So I decided that the queen was going to travel around her kingdom. So that is what I did. And that was in 2008. And I now have 15 published works out. I've won 90 literacy awards. And I started getting into film festivals. I saw something on Facebook, and I love to try new things. So I asked them, it was Conquering Disabilities with Film, because I have disabilities incorporated into my book. Students with disabilities are actually my actual students. So I entered some of my books, and this is one of them. Oh, where did I put it? Here it is. I entered this one. This is one of them. This is my little brother. He's an astronomer at JPL, and we wrote this book together. And in this book, this is my third one that I had started. This is actually the son of one of my friends, and she was my assistant for 20 years in my classroom. And her son has cerebral palsy. And so he's in the book, but we talk a little bit about cerebral palsy. There's 7 facts about it, but he's learning about astronomy from Sir Heathy Bean. And my brother wanted to do this. He wanted the wild hair and the bunny slippers. So that's what he got in the book. So he has a lot of character. So we did that. And then I added this little boy. His name is Jeremy. He has Down syndrome. And he was one of my students for 15 years, I believe. And his mom was a teacher with us. And so it talks just a little bit about the disability, Down syndrome. But my main focus in my books is to talk about how students who have disabilities and adults, they're living their lives so that they aren't incorporating in here as the disability first and then they're a person. No, they're a person first that has a disability and they just need a little bit of help in different areas of their life. So I entered that one and I entered this one. This one I have about Hawaii. I have a friend who lives in Kona. I visit him and his wife. His wife grew up there. I visit him very often. So I actually wrote 2 books on Kona, Hawaii. And this is my second one. This is 6th grade. And this little girl has Rett syndrome. Her name is Ireland. And so in the story, her mom is helping her make leis. They're lacing the leis, the flowers, and the queen is there. And they're explaining Rett syndrome to the queen. But she has friends. She goes to school. She's making leis for all of her friends. And that's the important part about including the disabilities is these children, they're living their lives. It's not about their disability. It's about them living their lives. And this is Connor. He was my student, and this is his dad. Connor has autism, and he uses a communication device. He's now probably 25 now. But in the story, they're at the Volcanic National Park. So him and his dad are learning about volcanoes. They're exploring, and the queen is with them. And then Connor is explaining his communication device, and he's talking to the queen using it. So when a child is reading the book, they're seeing, so when they're at school or out in the community and someone is using a communication device, which can be on an iPad or a phone, they know that that's what it's for. It's for to communicate with this person. And so that the students on campus, they don't think, well, why does that person get to have an iPad or the phone and I don't? They're not playing it. There aren't games on it. There is communication on it. And that is how that they're communicating with their world. So I entered the Conquering Disabilities with Film Festival, and I actually won the Special Recognition Award for my series. It's clear, you can't really see it. But that began my journey through the film festivals. And now I've won 150 film festivals around the world with my works. I've been able to go to some of the film festivals locally in LA. They're lots of fun. You get to see and I went to one in Vegas too, a whole week. And you get to watch the other films that people are being made. You get to meet the people that are there, the producers, the actors, actresses, the writers. It's very exciting. And it's just really interesting to meet so many other people who are spreading their thoughts and their words out into the world. So that's why I'm here to talk about is how I turned my life and the things that I do into an award-winning series in which it's read all around the world. And I get to go to schools and introduce literacy. My books are used it's a center in Seattle, Washington, in the U.S., and it's used for immigrants. They're coming from Africa and China and Mexico, and they have very limited English, if sometimes none at all. They're coming here to immigrate, to be safe for whatever reason they're coming. And I have a teacher friend, and he helps them get a job. He helps them learn English. And he uses my books to help the people that he's working with and their families learn to read and write English. So the format of them they're perfect for ESL learners or SPED learners, people with learning disabilities, or emergent readers, and they're highly educational. So the children are reading them and they don't know that they're being educated, and they're just learning more adventures. So recently, as part of the Global Women Speakers, which is why I'm here, I was put into the Success magazine. I was one of their 50 entrants for the Women of Influence. And I'm in here for my special education work and my literacy work. And so I was very honored to have that. So I am here to teach you how to take your thoughts and your feelings. So many people say they want to write a book. I want to write a book. Someday I'm going to write a book. And honestly, it's scary. It's scary to write it. It's scary to put yourself out there, because you're putting your inner self out there for the world to see, for the world to criticize or impact or love, which is hopefully what you're getting, is a lot of love from it. But, sometimes people have not nice things to say, but it's hard. So I'm here to help you. I have now created a workbook, and we're going to have retreats to help you. It comes in 3 sections. It helps you explore yourself and your experiences, and it helps you pinpoint what it is that you want to say to the world, because that's one of the most important things, is to know what it is that you want to say. What do you want the world to know about you, about your experiences? What do they want to get from your writing? So this is something else that I did. Unfortunately, I was stalked by a woman, and it went on for 10 years, but I ended up having to sell my home. It was a very horrifying experience, terrifying. There was a lot of gaslighting going on, so there was a lot of confusion. But I was sitting in the sheriff's office talking to a detective, and he confirmed who it was. I didn't even know her. And when he told me who it was, and he was very upset. He'd spoken to her and he was very upset. So I was with my friend, and we drove to Vegas, and I wrote a book about what had happened, and it helped me process all of the emotions that I had about it. So this is what I wrote. I wrote Dragon's Breath, and it's about myself and the man that this was about. And in the book is all of the things that had happened to me, the things that she had said to me. I incorporated it into the book, and it became a lesson, a learning lesson for children all around the world. And if that was what I needed to do, and that's why that it happened to me, then, it makes it kind of okay to live through it. And so the children like to read it. I love to share it. But there's part of it, it's a lesson for the children. We teach our children that people do bad things, and if they apologize to us, well, then it's kind of okay. But some people do things on purpose, and they know they're hurting you, and they keep doing it. And that's a really hard lesson we have to teach our children and even adults. And it happens to anybody. It can happen to anybody. Someone can kind of connect with you in a negative way, and you don't even necessarily have to know them. And with our day and age, there's so much information that they've made public, addresses and phone numbers that you didn't necessarily want public. So we have to be kind of mindful, and we have to teach our children that not everybody is doing things badly on a mistake. And so I always point out, because the kids always read this and then they want to say, well, the dragon didn't really mean it. She didn't mean it, but she did mean it. And here on this page, she's watching. See, she's blowing black smoke because she's not even powerful enough to burn up the village. She just is blowing black smoke. And then all the crops are dying, and the kingdom's falling apart. The king and queen can't be together. They don't know what's going on, and they're all in distress. And here's the dragon, just watching. So the dragon knows. The dragon knows this is happening. And she keeps doing it until she gets caught red-handed. So this is a story on how to teach children how to protect themselves, really, and to learn that sometimes you just can't have someone in your life because they were going to hurt you. But I turned my good experiences, my traveling, into my Queen Vernita. And then I turned something that was very hard for me into something that became a lesson, a life lesson for children. And it's being read all around the world. And so it became so popular, and it's winning awards all over the world, that I just had my second one. So the King and Queen and the baby dragon, she left her baby dragon for them to raise. And this baby dragon is a good dragon. And she's helping the kingdom and protecting the kingdom. And so this one just came out just a few months ago. And it's won 35 film awards around the world. So I've started a new goal that I'm going to win an award in every country in the world. And there's a lot of countries, but I've got 35 going. But it's just loved so much, and it's only been out a couple of months. So this is what I've done with some of the negativity that happened to me that wasn't my fault. And it happens to almost everybody. Something happens and it's not your fault. You didn't cause it. It just happens. But I'm here to tell you that you can turn positive experiences, negative experiences into things, literacy, things that you can share with the world. And so in my bio is the link for my workbook. And you can contact me on Dawn Menge1 and Facebook. I'm on Twitter as Queen Vernita, Instagram as Dawn Menge. You can email me, click on the link and buy the book. And I really hope to see you. I'm not sure how much time I have because I started late. So, but I did receive from the Success Magazine, I received this in the mail, and it's beautiful. But the world is full of so many wonderful experiences. And I want to help each and every one of you that wants to write a book. And it's not just a children's book. You can write a memoir, a workbook, a children's book, a romance book, anything that you want to write. You can go through the workbook and figure out your core values, figure out your message, and I will help you write it. Oh, I think I have a lot of time. So I'm going to keep talking about my series then, if that's okay. So this is one we just published too, just a few months ago. We took a photography trip to New England, which is on the East Coast of the United States, because I've always wanted to see the beautiful colors. And so we spent 10 days and we traveled around and we looked at all of the colors. And so now this one is a second and third grade. It's all about our trip and the people that were on it. So I have taken all of my adventures and turned them into literacy. Melinda is there. Let's see. Oh, I have this one. This one is Alaska. So I've taken several trips to Alaska. This one has glaciers and whales and seals. And so this is third and fourth grade. So you can also go on Amazon, and all of my books are on there, and you can read all of the reviews. They're pre-K to sixth grade. This one is on a camping trip we take every year. So this one is pre-K to first grade. We go camping on the beach, and this is actually myself and my grandma. She's passed away now, but this has my family in it, and there's an ostrich farm. So all of our adventures are in here. This is my son-in-law and my grandson, and they're surfing. Excuse me. So be sure and check out the series. If you're not sure what grade level the book is, you can send me a DM and I will let you know what would be the best book for the grade level you're looking for. Like I said, they're wonderful for ESL, emergent readers, and special ed students. So be sure and check it out. Is Melinda there?
Dr. Dawn, I am here.
Okay.
So I'm just watching your books. It's very interesting. So yes. So go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. What else did I have? I didn't have any more out here. I should have grabbed more. Oh, I have this one. We went on a paddle. This is Baja, Mexico. And this one is sixth grade. And we went on a trip, several trips to Mexico, but we went whitewater rafting. And this was it was supposed to be a family trip. We went on a cruise for Thanksgiving. So all my kids and grandkids were there. I think only one grandkid at the time. I have 6 now. But we went on a whitewater trip. It's supposed to be a family trip. It's supposed to be easy. I have a brother who's disabled, so it was supposed to be very easy. But we had a guide who was from Peru, and he'd never been on this river in Acapulco. So he wasn't doing a good job. And then they put the people on there that had never whitewater rafted. So we actually ended up getting a hole in our boat. And then we had to stop on this rock. So the boat went up against a rock and everybody was getting out of the boat, but I was in the front. So because of the weight and the current, the boat was being sucked under the rock. And I had to let go. I was holding on to the rock and I let go. And I went down the rapids and around the corner. And I never listened to the emergency talks, when they're telling them, which you really should. So I popped up and my son and my mom were standing on the rock. And the only person I saw was my son. And he was like 16 at the time. And he was yelling at me, turn around, because you have to go down the river with your feet so you don't hit rocks with your back. So I turned around and then I could hear them blowing the whistle and they came and got me. And when I got on, I said, I broke a nail. I was in so much shock from the whole thing. It was kind of scary, but I could feel the rapids over my head. So we went back. Everything was fine. We went back and we were sitting at the show on the cruise and I could hear everybody talking about the lady that fell out of the boat, which was me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then later when kind of the shock wore off and we realized, well, that was kind of really dangerous. We thought, oh, we gave the guy a really good tip. We should not have done that. But, experiences, but that's what life is about, is having experiences. I used to love to do contests. And one time I won a trip to Hawaii, to Oahu, from the local grocery store. So I took my kids and we went to Oahu. And I wanted to go swimming with the sharks. So we all got in the car, drove across to the North Shore, and we got in this boat. And so this is actually in my Hawaii book. And my kids were there. I had one grandchild. So the boys in our family got in, and I got in with them. You're in a cage. Like you see in the movies, you get in the cage, and then we're 10 miles out. And so my oldest daughter was still on the boat, and she was helping them feed the sharks. So the sharks were coming and jumping up and scaring the heck out of her, but we didn't see any of that. We just saw the sharks swimming around us. And they were not great whites. I think he said they were lemon sharks, but they were big. It was really exciting. And so by the time we got done with our turn and it was her turn, she refused to get in the cage. She said, no, I'm not doing that, because she saw them jumping up and taking the fish out of her hands and stuff. And she's like, no. But I really am glad that I did that, because it was an exciting experience. We went to Tahiti, and, the coral reef is a mile out. So there's a lot of wildlife, fish inside the coral reef. And we were in there and we were swimming with these huge manta rays. They were huge, bigger than your arms. And they would swim up on you like this. They were very friendly. And again, I was with my son and my mom, and my son was 16. And the guide told me and my son, come here. And so we swam out, and it was a little deeper, and there was a whole bunch of sharks just swimming in the open ocean. And it's so fascinating that you don't think about the danger. He did tell us they have so much food, they're not interested in you. So you really hope they aren't. But it's just fascinating. The world is just so amazing. A lot of people don't realize how small their little world is when they compare it to how huge the world is. I went to New Orleans, and I love New Orleans. Love the jazz, love it. We stayed in the Garden District and then rode the little trolley down to where all the excitement is. But we went in the bayou twice. And we went on an airboat. There was like 6 of us on the airboat, and it was thundering and lightning. And so while we were driving around, we had to hide underneath the moss-covered trees so that we didn't get electrocuted from the lightning. But when it stopped, then the guy that was with us, he had his overalls, and he stopped on a mound. It wasn't even dirt. It was just like a big pile of weeds. And he stopped on there, he gets out and he starts making this weird noise. And then all of a sudden we see these huge eyes coming up out of the water. And these alligators came out. I mean, they were probably this close to him and he was feeding them and it was fascinating. So he comes over and he picks up an ice chest and he hands us a baby alligator. Just hands it to us. So we're holding this baby alligator in our hand. And so I have a book on New Orleans. So I'm here to teach you how to turn all your adventures into whatever literacy realm you would like to try.
So thank you so much, Dr. Dawn, for sharing the wonderful presentation with us. So we have a question from our audience. So how do you engage with your audience to make educational concepts more accessible and inspiring?
Well, like when I do this book, this is an interactive book. So I have the students read it with me because it's the calendar skills. And so we learn how to do the calendar skills, the pre-K. The older students, what they really love is they love to know that these are real people, that these are real adventures. So I show them the real pictures from what we did. And I did an interview from Philadelphia, and the man told me that his friend had been reading my books from the library, and she actually got a second job because she wanted to take her child on adventures based on the books. So we get them involved. And then when we go to a fair, like a book fair, we actually have a crown. So we have a Queen Vernita crown and a Queen Giggles crown. And the students and the kids love making crowns also. So they make the crowns, they put the stickers on it, whatever they'd like. And it has my information on it. So when they go home, they have my information, but they wear the crown around the festival and they are all prince and princesses of the kingdoms. And so they really love interacting with all of that. And of course, I'm a teacher, so it's kind of like embedded in me.
Yes, yes, I think whoever asked this question, so they get the answer. So thank you so much for sharing the wonderful present with the WIN Ideas Pro Summit. So let's move on to the another speaker, Anthony. So please join our next speaker session, Anthony. Bye bye.
Bye.